What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WWE Network and Show, where I, Graham G. Matthews, break down all the original content you watch on the WWE Network and on Peacock. And today we're talking the November 13th, 2023 edition of Raw Talk. Matt Camp, Megan Moran in the studio, opening up the episode, recapping the main event. That saw the Judgment Day Finn Balor and Damian Priest successfully retain the tag team titles against Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso, following the heel turn, cementing his heel turn anyway, of Drew McIntyre. Great stuff. They'll talk more about that a little bit later on. They also recap the Rollins and Jey Uso match against Dominic Mysterio and JD McDonough a little bit earlier on in the show, the start of the show actually. They replayed Damian Priest officially inducting JD McDonough into the Judgment Day with a segment that happened backstage on the show. So he's been an ally of the group for a while now, for a few months, and they officially made it official on the show last night. They recapped the Tegan Nox win over Piper Niven. We hear from Tegan Nox and Natalya backstage with Byron Saxton. Natalya says that she's Tegan Nox's good luck charm, and Tegan said that she won for her sweet Athena. So she had an armband during her match on Raw this week that said Athena on it, which I didn't actually notice until I saw this interview. I knew the armband that she was wearing. I couldn't read what it said, and I saw here that it said Athena, and she said that she won for her sweet Athena. I assume it's a dog or an animal that passed away. Maybe her family member. It's not for the women's wrestler. It's not for the former Ember Moon. I was thinking for a slight second maybe it was, but usually you wear an armband during a match if someone's not doing well or they passed away. I think Athena, by all accounts, is fine. So I kind of figured it wasn't for her, but when she said sweet Athena, it made it pretty obvious that she was not referring. It was not a tribute to the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion, just to kind of put that out there. But anyway, as they have in the past, they tease going after the WWE Women's Tag Team titles. The titles currently held by Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. They then replay the Xia Li versus Indy Hartwell match, won by Xia Li pretty decisively, and the post-match promo from Becky Lynch, challenging Li to a match on next week's show. Xia Li tells Jackie Redmond backstage to shut up, because Jackie was recapping what happened on Raw, and Xia Li has the wherewithal to just tell her to, listen, shut up and give me my time to talk. She says that she'll knock out Becky Lynch the same way next week that she did Candice and Indy in the past couple of weeks, and she will win. She probably won't, but that's the match advertised for next week. They preview Xia Li and Becky Lynch for next week's show. They also preview Shinsuke and Nakamura, or not preview, but recap Shinsuke's win over Otis from Raw, and preview Chad Gable versus Nakamura on next week's show. That should be fucking awesome. They replay Miz versus Ivar, and Miz's win over Ivar on Monday night. We hear from Miz backstage, and Miz says that to look at his abs, and he's talking to Jackie Redmond. I'm not really sure why he was obsessed with his abs here. Maybe because he's in better shape now than he has been in a while. I'm not sure. But he kept obsessing over his abs in this interview. He says Gunther is not a focused champion. He's not focused on anyone. He's not focused on Miz, certainly. He's got a lot of other stuff going on. But he says he will do whatever it takes to win. That is what separates him from the rest of the roster. He will do whatever he needs to do to pull out that victory. And come Survivor Series, he will become a record-setting 9-time Intercontinental Champion. Or actually, no, I think Jericho might be a 9-time champion. So, I think Jericho's the record-setting 9-time champion. Miz is only an 8-time, but he says that'll happen at Survivor Series, even though it won't. And they preview Miz versus Gunther at Survivor Series. Matt Camp, when asked by Jackie, does Gunther respect Miz? Camp says he does respect Miz. He just plans to put him out at Survivor Series. And they again recap the main event with Finn Balor and Damian Priest successfully retaining the tag team titles against Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso, and the heel turn from Drew McIntyre, and the handshake that he had with Rhea Ripley on the stage to close the show. And Drew says, or rather Camp says about Drew, he's been kind of teetering around it up until now, but he calls McIntyre absolutely better. And he had reasons for doing what he did, but at this point he's just better for attacking Jey for something that happened over a year ago. And they hype up next week's War Games Advantage match. We don't know who's going to be competing in it, but they do hype that it's going to be happening next week on the show. They also plug Sami Zayn and Nick Aldis for the bump coming up on Wednesday. Pretty tame edition of Raw Talk here. Not a lot of meat to it, but that's fine with me. A shorter show is perfectly fine in my book. Raw this week I thought was a middle-of-the-road show. Not nearly as good as last week's show or the week before that. Definitely a step back in that respect. I finished the show, not watching live, but after the fact, in like fucking an hour and a half. There really wasn't a lot to watch, but I did watch all the important stuff and all the important matches, promos, whatever. I skip over the commercials and the recaps and the shit like that. And I watched it in like 90 to 100 minutes, which is saying something for a 3-hour show. But that was Raw in a nutshell for Monday, or Raw Talk rather in a nutshell for Monday night. Thank you guys for checking out my review. I appreciate it. Be sure to like the video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. Have an awesome one, guys. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.